Hey to YouTube, this is Jeff aka 101 Bronson, back today with the next Sergio Corbucci spaghetti western movie review. And today's movie is The Specialist from 1969, directed and co-written by Sergio Corbucci, starring Johnny Hallyday, Gastone Moschin, if I'm pronouncing that right, Françoise Fabian, Mario Adorf, Sylvie Fenek, hope I pronounced that right as well, and Corbucci regular Gino Pernice is in this movie, among others. This is sort of a, if the previous three Corbucci movies were below average, which they did get better and better, this one is the first average movie for me personally. I know a lot of people actually consider this a bit higher, but like I said previously, I had some issues with this one that I would love to get into. This is, it's just not a Corbucci western that I don't know, I just it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm just gonna say that. It's perfectly okay for other people to like it, but for me personally, I just take Django and Mercenary and Compañeros and A Great Silence and Navajo Joe and all the movies we haven't covered yet. I just take them above this one, to be honest, because I just enjoy them much better. This one I just really didn't enjoy that much. Anyway, we are going to get into it. There are stuff in here that I enjoy. I enjoy things in most spaghetti westerns, even the terrible ones. There's always going to be something in there that I will like and enjoy. Even with this one, like I said, it's not a bad one. I'm going to give this a pretty good score too compared to the other Corbucci movies we covered. This is going to rank higher, but yeah, like I said, it's just still a pretty average one for me personally. Anyway, let's get into this movie. The plot. The plot of the movie is as follows. Gunman Hut, played by Johnny Hallyday, arrives in Blackstone to seek revenge for his brother's death. He discovers the truth behind the lost money of the local bank, but still has to deal with an idealistic sheriff, Gideon, played by Gastone Moschin, a dubious female banker, played by Françoise Fabian, a one-armed Mexican bandit, played by Mario Adorf, who was once Hut's childhood friend, and there's also a bunch of hippie-like youngsters he has to deal with. So yeah, it's your typical revenge story. You know, his brother is killed. He wants to find out who did it, who was responsible. But you know, Corbucci certainly does put his own twist on it. This review is going to be the first one of the Corbucci review series that's going to contain a bit of spoilers. So you have been warned if you haven't seen this movie yet, and you are planning to go into the movie blind, this review is not for you. This review might contain spoilers. It might be mild spoilers, but spoilers nonetheless. So yeah, let's get into it. The positives that I liked. First of all, I love the opening scene in the movie. This movie opens very good. It has a very good opening scene. Very dark, atmospheric. It sort of sets the tone. You know, a couple of robbers have taken some people from a stagecoach hostage. They stop at this sort of station, you know, like a waiting station for a stagecoach. They didn't know anybody was there, but as soon as they take the people that they sort of took hostage to this place. Gunman Hud is there, you know, Johnny Hallyday waiting for them. He takes out the people. Um, it is a very good way to open the movie up. I must say, I really enjoyed that. The main theme of the movie, I don't know who the composer is for this movie actually. Music apparently is composed by Angelo Francesco Lavangino. Oh, again, I hope I pronounced that right. I actually did not mind the main theme for this movie, and pretty much most of the soundtrack I thought was okay. But the main theme is catchy. It sort of it sticks with you after you watch the movie. It's not a Morricone score. It's not a Louis Bacalov score. It's not a, Bruno Nicolai score. But I thought it was an okay score for this movie. I didn't mind it. The cinematography in this movie as well was astonishing, although that might be thanks to the Eureka Blu-ray, which has a fantastic, excellent transfer on Blu-ray. Really one of the best transfers I've seen for a spaghetti western on Blu-ray, to be honest. It was a very good transfer, very clear, very crisp. Really enjoyed that aspect as well. There are a couple of familiar names in this movie too, by the way. The sheriff, played by Gastone Moschin, is called Gideon, who of course Eli Wallach played a character called Gideon in The White, the Yellow, and the Black, which was the movie we covered previously on the series 2 episodes ago. And the girl, the female banker, she is called Polycott. She's called Virginia Polycott. Of course, Polycott was the name of one of the main villains in The Great Silence, which is preceded this movie. But I thought it was an interesting connection that in both movies they're bankers and they're corrupt bankers, and the girl they're both called Polycott. Corbucci apparently liked the name Polycott for some reason. Anyway, there's a very cool fight scene in the saloon where Hud takes on this character called Boot, which I really liked that fight scene. It was a very good saloon barroom fight, brawl scene, you know. There were some unique environments and locations in this movie. There's no deserts in this one. Although I think there's one scene where there's a bit of desert, but it's really mostly mountain related. It's like a mountain movie. It's not a snowy mountain like The Great Silence. You do see the mountains covered in snow in the background and stuff, and the environments, but it's mostly like, you know, green. It's a very green movie. You know, there's a lot of grass. It's mostly just on hills and mountains. So I like that aspect to the movie as well. There was some unique locations for spaghetti western, you know, similar to The Great Silence, which had everything covered in snow. This one takes it a bit, you know, lower, away from the snow mountains, into the sort of, you know, the regular mountains, if you will, the non-snowy mountains. Yeah, I like that aspect to the movie as well. The actress who played Virginia Polycott, Françoise Fabian, I liked her. I thought she looked. I thought she was a pretty good looking woman. I liked her character. I mean, you know, it turns out she's the main villain, just like the character Polycott in The Great Silence. Which shouldn't surprise you if you've seen The Great Silence and you watch this one. Another banker character. In this case, it's a female. Again called Polycott. You sort of expect that she's not going to be a good one, a good character, a heroine, if you will. This is where I go into real spoilers, so if you really don't want to get spoiled, I will put a little timestamp to the point where I finish discussing this next point. So final warning, if you want to skip the spoilers, go to this timestamp right here. So it turns out that this Virginia Polycott is actually the one that is responsible for Hutz's brother getting murdered. She actually gave the order, and that's revealed in the very end of the movie. And actually a very bizarre and weird ending to this one, in which Hut goes to town. El Diablo's people, the Mexican bandit of the movie, played by Mario Adorf, they have taken the Polycott woman sort of hostage, if you will. They go to town. There's a big shootout. The sheriff gets killed. Hud gets involved with the shootout. He takes out most of the El Diablo's gang. Then he confronts Polycott for the money. He confronts Polycott and demands to know an answer to who killed his brother, and she says, "I did it, I ordered it," and stuff like that. Hut walks away. Of course, at this point, Polycott has been fatally injured. Polycott still tries to shoot Hut in the back at that point, but she just dies. So at that point, there's a final shootout with El Diablo, between Hut and El Diablo, which I thought was an okay confrontation. I love the character of El Diablo anyway by Mario Adorf. It was a cool character. It's nothing to write home about. It's your typical Mexican bandit, but of course this was a bit different. He had one arm, and he's always telling one of his henchmen, "Hey, write this down, write this down. The great El Diablo did this and this today. The great Diablo did this. Write that down, write that down." He was sort of writing his own biography, I think. So I like that, and that was a cool confrontation between them. Anyway, next spoiler. We really go to the very end. Even though this wouldn't really be as a big spoiler ending, I think, but after the confrontation between Hut and El Diablo, the hippies sort of take over. Hut has been injured in the gunfight before. The hippies, there's been this group of hippies all throughout the movies. You see them in a couple of scenes, they pop up. I don't really care for them. I really didn't care for these characters. Anyway, at the end, they sort of take over the town. They force everybody in town to strip naked, and they're terrorizing the city or the town there at the very end. And then it goes to another final confrontation between Hut and the hippies. I'm not going to give anything away beyond that, so I guess those were some really mild spoilers. But I found that a weird aspect, that they ordered the entire town to strip naked. A lot of buttocks, you know, bare asses, a couple of tits, even some penises were shown there, because it was males and females that were ordered to strip naked. So that was just really bizarre. This is like a really bizarre Corbucci movie. Not that anything's wrong, you know, with that, but it just really wasn't my cup of tea, to be honest. Anyway, I think I pretty much covered everything I wrote down. I actually have been reading off from my cheat list. I actually made some notes while I watched the movie this time. You know, writing down the positives and negatives, so sort of the general feeling I had towards the movies. I wrote it all down. I covered it all. So, is there anything I would like to add? Not really. And my final score for this movie, out of 5 stars, this movie gets 2.5 stars out of 5. So yeah, that's a slightly below average rating. Like I said, I still like this movie. And join me next time when we will be taking a look at the number 9 Sergio Corbucci spaghetti western in my ranking, which will be Sonny and Jet from 1972 with Thomas Milian and Suzanne George. See you guys then. As always, stay safe and healthy. Westerns for life, you know, always talk westerns. And adios, compañeros. Till the next one.
Is there something else I could get you, sir?
Yep. Your money.
This is a hold-up.